Hey guys, Waddock Studios here, and today I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach. Yesterday I had a video that outlined Unreal Engine and the state of the industry, and I kind of covered how it's not one person's fault, it's not Epic's fault, it's not the developer's fault. There is a misalignment in the industry, and again, this guy Dallas, he mentions Thread Interactive, which is who I mentioned in my last video. And I stated that I don't, I understand what TI is trying to do from some regard in the stance of bringing awareness about some of the optimization issues and the rendering pipeline issues that are present in modern day rendering. However, I don't fully agree with the approach, so to speak. And if I did, then you would find that I would do videos like that or something. But my thing is my goal is I love Unreal Engine, and I'm trying to take the thing that I love and nudge it back into a direction that I know that is going to be beneficial to the industry. And I'm also trying to address videos that are popping up all over the place that are simply just wrong. Or they're taking some point and they're nitpicking it or isolating it into a vacuum. And I don't have anything against Dallas. I see that he's a principal artist. He's probably been working within Unreal Engine for a while. More than likely doesn't have a huge engineering background. And most of the points that he makes, other than the fact of his approach, is while I don't agree with Thread Interactive's approach of, you know, hardcore bashing Epic and the engine, he does make valid points and he does point on things that are wrong. Well, the same goes for people that swing the other direction, where they just want to tell everyone you're doing it wrong. And that's the kind of the really tough spot that UE5 has a lot of people's mindsets in. You have all of these people approaching the engine from different industries: Hollywood, the gaming industry, from a design perspective, visual artists, virtual production. And the answer isn't right for everyone. And while Dallas does an excellent job of outlining the differences between Nanite, VSM, the Unreal Engine 5's requirements to have a performance scene using the newer traditional pipelines, I would say he does a fairly decent job of mentioning the let's just say the engineering gymnastics and the rendering pipeline gymnastics that you have to do to be in line with Unreal. And if I was targeting a 90 series RTX card, all would be well in the world. I could follow the traditional newer workflow, probably hit 60 frames per second. I mean, maybe, depending on the type of game, how many interactions there were, NPCs, and what aspects of the newer pipeline that I put into my game. What he's failing to mention and what he's failing to realize is the goal of what Unreal Engine is. And the goal of UE5 was to reduce development time. They marketed their product as a general purpose engine that would save you money as a studio. And when a lot of people made this jump, it was early versions of UE5, 5.1 through 5.4, and I would argue that even up until 5.4, 5.5, we're still seeing major issues with the engine, both in traditional optimization paths, and in the newer Nanite, Chaos, VSM, and Lumen workflow. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that there's an upset condition here with all these YouTube videos popping up. And I usually don't pick an individual and call them out because I feel out of place and I feel like that's not for me to correct someone. However, what goes around comes around, and Dallas jumped on the bandwagon with Thread Interactive and really called that fella out or whatever. I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to go that far with it. All I really want to say is that you can't, while Dallas is correct technically that Lumen and Nanite and VSM have a different workflow. Mass materials are an issue. Quad overdraw is an issue. WPO is an issue. The failure here is to realize that studios have to hit both targets. We don't work in isolation. We can't adopt a new engine and go, well, we don't have to worry about LOD fallback. We don't have to worry about material switching between the two pipelines. We don't have to worry about other RHIs. It doesn't work like that. We will not meet the ROI that we need to meet if we can't target both 8th and 9th gen consoles. Plain and simple. And a lot of these people that are releasing these videos are like, well, you're just doing it wrong. No, we're not. And the devs that are worth their grain of salt, that have been in this engine through this 9th generation transition, I mean, the only thing I can say is when you know, you know. We know what we have to do. The argument that I'm stating is that the vision of what UE5 was supposed to be, the goal of reducing the amount of time that it takes to actually optimize and develop and release a title has not been realized. And I would say to the contrary, the reason people are upset and the reason people are complaining and the reason studios are releasing games in such a horrid state is because of the technical gymnastics that they have to do to fall in line with the needs of both the previous 8th gen, 9th gen, or even the plethora of video cards that span between 60 series and 90 series DirectX. That's just the fundamental truth, you know. And I don't want to rub anyone the wrong way, but and I apologize, Dallas. I just have to respectfully disagree that the entirety of your video covers the actual issue of what's happening here. I do want to say I'm very appreciative of the information that you're giving. We fall in line in that I think our desire is to help the general community. So I do appreciate that, and I want you to know that. To all my Patreon members, thank you. To all the Wild Ox Discord studio members, thank you. And happy developing, and have a wonderful Monday. Toodles.